Welcome back to Book Babble. I'm your host, John Hartness. I am the founder and publisher of Falstaff Books. And joining me, as always, is my co-host and associate publisher from Falstaff Books, Melissa McArthur. And joining us, as always this evening, is her emotional support pillow. Joining us for the first time this evening, or on this particular show ever, is...
I'm David B. Coe today.
Okay, I lose track.
I do too.
Is David B. Coe?
Pillow?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Would D.B. Jackson like a pillow?
Yes.
So tell the folks at home a little bit about you, David.
David B. DB, yeah. So I've been writing for a couple of decades now. I have 24, 25 books in print, about the same number of short stories. I write epic fantasy, urban fantasy, historical urban fantasy, media tie-in. I've done some editing at this point. I'm a survivor, man.
You've got an anthology coming out later this year?
Yeah, Galactic Stew will be out in probably July, August. It's an anthology devoted to food. If you're a foodie and you're a geek, this is your thing.
You know, Zombies Need Brains has 3 of these anthologies coming out all at once.
Yes.
They did not put my fat ass in the food book.
What's up with that? You didn't volunteer a story for it.
I have a story in the other one.
Yeah.
I'm in, my batteries are low and it's getting dark. Because that's the one they asked me to write for.
That's the Sanctuary story?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we had 3 anthologies going. The one I did, Galactic Stew, we got 400 submissions. The one you were in, 250 submissions.
Good God.
Apocalypse, the Apocalypse, 850 submissions.
Wow.
Joshua read 1,400 stories.
He is a better man than all of us put together.
He is a god. Joshua Palmatier, I worship you.
God bless you.
Seriously.
Me too, because I just signed the contract, and by the time this airs, I'll be paid.
Yeah, me too.
So, welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here.
What we do here on Book Babble, it's my hotel room. I'm taking my damn shoes off.
I'm feeling faint.
Bro, they're Birkenstocks. They were not holding anything in to start with. What we do on Book Babble is I take my shoes off and make our guests pass out. And then when they come to, we ask them to talk about books that they love.
Yeah.
So I prepped you for this a little earlier today, and I told you that unlike most of our guests, I'm not allowing you to choose one of those. But I do want you to tell me about a recent book you've read that you love.
All right, so actually I'm going to tell you about a book I'm reading right now. I'm almost done with it.
Okay.
And it's Fonda Lee's Jade City. Fonda won the World Fantasy Award in 2018 for this book. Picture Mulan mixed with The Godfather, and you have in a epic fantasy setting, and you have got Jade City. It is about magic, organized crime, culture, a family falling apart at the seams and trying to hold itself together. The lead character is a woman named Shay, who in every other way is Michael Corleone, and it's. Excuse me, I know you guys don't, I know John is very proper about this thing. He doesn't like to swear at all. It's fucking brilliant. It is a fucking brilliant book. I know you're not quite as enthusiastic about it as I am, but I love it.
So I started the book, and I really loved the beginning.
Uh-huh.
But I was listening to it on audio,
and
hit a break in my driving. I didn't have a long trip. And I don't want to listen to an audiobook when I'm just driving 15, 20 minutes.
Right.
Because then it's all disjointed. So I haven't gotten back to the book because when I tried to go back to it, I couldn't pick it up. So now, off of this recommendation, I'll pick up the ebook and I'll actually read the thing after I finish Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo, which I did the exact same fucking thing with.
Yeah.
So, and that book I love, at least the parts of it I've gotten to. But same thing, I hit a point where I wasn't driving often and lost the thread of the book.
Right.
You know what this means? You need to do more cons that require more driving.
There you go.
Bite your tongue.
I'm reading the book, actually. I go to the gym in the mornings and I read it while I'm pedaling on my recumbent bike. And it makes my workouts go like that. I mean, I look down and I'm reading and I look up, my workout's over.
Well, I do
just-
that all the time too, but I only get like 2 pages done.
The thing about this book is, so Jade City, jade is key to it. Jade is the source of magic, but it also has addictive properties.
Yeah, I really liked that
And
bit.
that was it's just beautifully done. And so when people battle, they use their jade, the magic from their jade to do battle, and the vanquished person, once they're dead, the other person takes their jade. And so every time there's a battle lost, somebody is getting more power. And it's beautifully done. She's a wonderful writer. I've met her a few times. She's really a terrific person as well. Really approachable and nice and fun to talk to. I recommend these books. There's
And
a new
there's
one
a
out
sequel,
called
isn't there?
Jade War.
Okay.
It just come out. I haven't read it yet. Very excited to get to it.
Awesome. Now, like I said, I didn't let David do like I usually allow people to do, which is tell them about a book that they've loved all for a long time.
I
Because
was going to choose the Torah, just so my mom knows.
I hope to fuck your mother does not watch my YouTube
Actually,
channel.
she's dead, so no, she doesn't.
Well, I think it's actually way more likely. We got a better chance now, pal. But I want to hear, you and I have talked in the past about your fandom and your love for the work of Guy Gavriel Kay.
Yes.
And I want to hear more about that.
Okay.
Because
So
I'm not terribly familiar with his work.
Guy Gavriel Kay is, to my mind, and I say this as someone who writes fantasy and who considers himself a fantasist, Guy Gavriel Kay is the finest living fantasist in the world. He is a remarkable writer. The book I'll talk about is Tigana, Tigana. It's a standalone epic fantasy that is about this thick. It's a big book. And it is, God, how do you talk about Kay's work? Part of it is his world building is detailed and nuanced and just magnificent. It's his worlds are places you visit. They feel rich and alive, and every time you go there you discover something new that you didn't notice on the last reading. Just remarkable stuff. His character work is spectacular. The lead villain in Tigana is a sorcerer, and you want to hate him. You want to hate him so much. But there's a character who has essentially seduced him because she wanted to kill him. And instead of killing him, she fell in love with him. And now she lives with him as his concubine, essentially, because he's for appearances, he's married to his queen. But this is the woman he loves. And she lives every day with the guilt of loving this man who destroyed her kingdom, who she went to avenge herself on and instead has fallen in love with. I mean, seriously, I mean, that's the sort of thing. The power of what he does is remarkable. The best thing about Guy is I idolized his work for years and years and years. Several years ago, I met him at When Words Collide, which is a really nice kind of writerly conference up in Calgary, Canada. I go back to every few years and I teach at it. And he was there. We spent an evening drinking scotch together.
Yeah.
And I told him, I got to tell you, I'm fanboying here. I love your work. I love you. And the next morning, I ran into him and he said, I wish we'd had more time to talk. Why don't we have dinner together tonight? Guy and I, at this point, are good friends. We text every day. We talk about politics. We talk about sports. We talk about scotch. He's incredibly approachable, really fun guy to talk to. And I still worship his work. So it's
awesome.
it's really cool. It's really cool.
I love that story.
Yeah.
Yeah, you love it. The running gag is don't meet your heroes.
Right, seriously.
But what I found since getting into this world is it's so often okay to meet your heroes, because most of the big name fantasy writers that I've met are great.
Speaking as your hero, I've enjoyed meeting you too, John.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had quite a few of my heroes.
So I'm
on
not going to
on the
contradict
show.
David because I still want more books out of him later. But I mean, Richard Kadri was just in here
Yeah.
tonight, and I think he's one of the best dark fantasy writers in the business, period.
I think Sandman Slim is the best urban fantasy ever written. I love it. I just love it.
And he's so down to earth and so approachable, and just, I mean, he's just burnout rock and roll trash like the rest of us.
There you go. There you go.
So
Love it.
yeah, so
Yeah.
that's great. It's great that he was so approachable, and that you've been able to create this real friendship with someone that you were probably peeing yourself a little the first time you met.
A little bit. Just a little bit.
Just
Thank
little
God for
spritz.
Depends. Yeah.
Well, David, what's coming out? What's next?
Well, what's next might be what's most recent.
Yes,
depending
by the
upon
time
where
this airs.
So, next book that I'm really, really excited about
Me too.
is Time's Assassin, the third book in my Isle Vale cycle, sequel to Time's Children and Time's Demon. These are time travel epic fantasy books in which the people who time travel age for every year they travel backward and then back through time and then back to their original time.
Which I love that mechanic.
Thank you.
So I've never seen it done before, and the juxtaposition in Time's Children, the juxtaposition of the protagonist's mental age and physical age is really, really well done.
And the reason I did that, and for any of you who are parents out there, he finds himself, he's 15 years old, he goes back in time 14 years, he finds himself a 29-year-old man in the body of a 15-year-old, and he's forced to take care of an orphaned infant. And for anyone who has ever had children and found yourself thinking, I'm too fucking young to have a kid, how did this happen? I feel like I'm a child myself. This is the book that I wrote based on that feeling.
Okay.
You know, because we all, you're a mom, and there's this feeling like, I just had a kid. I'm not ready for this.
Yeah.
I'm not ready for this.
The most surreal thing ever happened in my life is when I was leaving the hospital after I had my daughter. I'm like, you're just letting me take her home? I don't know what I'm doing.
I remember when we had our first kid, and Nancy said to me after about 6 weeks, she's like, so nobody's coming to take her back. This is ours, right?
It's so strange. It's like you go in and you don't have this, and then you come out, and it's like, you just get one.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, other people do that too, but it's a felony.
But they don't come after you. You just get it forever.
Potato. You know?
What's a little human trafficking among friends?
Insufferable.
Hmm?
Yep.
That's going to be the title of my autobiography.
There you go.
Am I going to edit that too?
I don't think you can edit it. You've lived too much of it at this point. So that's coming out from Falstaff Books this spring.
Yep.
And that is the third book. And we will absolutely at some point have a writing life video about how that shit happened.
Yes. No kidding. No kidding. And writing time travel. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that.
All right.
All right. Well, David, thank you so much for spending a little time with us.
My pleasure, man.
And
Thank you for having me.
thank you guys.
Thank
Thank you.
We will see you guys back in a week, which may or may not be 5 minutes, or it may be months, depending on whether or not Teresa can find anybody else in the bar who will come up here and video with us.